I'm in too many meetings, and you probably know that the note situation is never great. You end up missing something, or someone else does, and it causes lots of problems. So I thought I'd build a small AI-powered summarizer for meeting transcripts, and I've been putting together the front end here in Kiro, which I've been using as my IDE and really enjoying. I've got to the point now where I need to start building some back-end infrastructure to run it, and I'm not too familiar with back-end infra, so I was looking at ways to set it up and looking at documentation and different components. But then I was browsing through Kiro's powers, and I found this power called InsideOut Cloud Infrastructure. And it's just been added as a power in Kiro, so you can use it right here in the app. Let's read the description. Design, price, and deploy production-ready infrastructure through conversational AI. Generates Terraform and deploys with one command. That sounds like exactly what I need. Let's press install. And now try power. So now Kiro is activating the power, it's understanding what it can do, and it's adding its capabilities to Kiro. The InsideOut Kiro power is a really great way to make sure you've got the right tool for setting up infra without needing to leave Kiro or use other services. Okay, so it looks like the MCP server isn't connected yet. So click the Kiro icon in the left sidebar, find MCP servers here at the bottom, and just enable InsideOut. And then I'll let it know that I've enabled it. Okay, it's ready. So Kiro's read my front-end file, and it could send this right to InsideOut to streamline the whole process, but just for the purposes of the demo, we'll go through it step by step, so I'll say no to this. And hi. Okay, so we're talking to Riley now, which is InsideOut's AI Infra Advisor. Tell me a bit about the app you're building. So, as I said, InsideOut is a conversational agent, and you just want to give it a simple description in plain language. It will understand what infra you should use from your descriptive message. You don't need to mention providers or specific components unless you're specifically requesting them. It's not guessing or giving you a stock response either. It chooses based on what supports the features you need. I'm building an AI-powered note-taking app on AWS. We'll send that. Okay, and InsideOut gets back to you with a list of features that it thinks you need for your app. We've got secure note storage, note creation and editing, user authentication, AI-powered insights, and fast search and retrieval. So these look great. Let's proceed with these features. And for the first feature, secure note storage, it's suggesting serverless architecture with S3 and DynamoDB for our storage and our metadata storage. That sounds sensible, so let's move to note creation and editing. So moving on to note creation and editing, it's suggesting AWS Lambda for creating, saving, and editing notes, and the Amazon API gateway. Okay, that sounds good. We can move to user authentication. For user authentication, Amazon Cognito, okay. Let's move to the next feature, which is AI-powered insights. And our AI layer will consist of Bedrock, OpenSearch, and SQS. That looks good. We can go to the next feature, which is fast search and retrieval. And that's our final feature. So the final piece is CloudFront. And just like that, we've designed a full AI-powered serverless stack. We can review the architecture now and then move on to configuration. And it's given us a full stack summary of everything it's built. So here you can review the architecture that you just discussed with InsideOut, and then we can proceed to configuration. So InsideOut's given us this configuration to get started, but you can tweak and challenge and ask questions about the settings it's chosen. So for our cost strategy, it's chosen pay-as-you-go, which makes sense. And for scale, it's optimized for an initial launch of about 10,000 monthly users. Well, that seems too high because really I only want it for me initially, so we can ask it to reduce the scale. And this looks much better. It's reduced our data usage, it's modified our cost strategy to match, and for low traffic rather than high volume spikes, that all sounds good, and it should lower our costs, so that's good. And here's our technical configuration. So hosted on US East 1. We've got our metadata set to on demand, so we only pay for what we use. Our memory allotment and email-based sign-in. So this all looks good. We can now proceed to InsideOut calculating the monthly cost estimate. Okay, we have our monthly cost estimate, which is about $130. And it breaks that down by category and also whether it's fixed or variable. So this is great for figuring out if you need to go back and tweak your scale, or you need to adjust the parameters based on your budget. But this budget works for me, so we can proceed to generating the Terraform files. Okay, and the Terraforms are generated. So Kiro is suggesting we create a directory and save them. That works for me. Okay, so it's saved those Terraform files, and now we can proceed to deploying the infrastructure. It'll set up the services, configure them, which will take about 10 to 30 minutes, and then provide us with the connection details when it's finished. So I'm ready, let's start the deployment. So you need to connect your AWS account. So you need to open this URL in your browser. Then you need to connect your AWS cloud credentials, and then you need to subscribe to a Luther Systems plan. So we'll go to our browser, use the link, we'll connect with our role ARN, we'll test the cloud connection, which takes about a minute. So that's been validated, and now we can connect our cloud. I'm going to skip connecting a GitHub account. Okay, it skipped through the subscription because I'm already subscribed, but you just hit the Apply Terraform button. It'll take 10 to 20 minutes. Please keep the tab running, and it'll notify you when it's complete. You can watch the live deployment happening, or you can watch the deployment live in Kiro. You can see that the Terraform deployment has started, and it'll take about 15 minutes. You can monitor the progress here in Kiro. And in fact, you can use Kiro to stream the logs so you can watch it live. Okay, and it looks like deployment's complete. So Kiro's inspected the resources. Looks like everything came out okay. And you can manage your infrastructure through Kiro too. So just a few examples of things you can do. You can inspect your live infrastructure. You can monitor deployments. You can update your infrastructure. And you can tear it down as well. So just for an example, if we check the deployment status, we can see that the status was successful. It's our first version that we just applied, and it's stable. If you've got any questions about the plugin, or you want to connect with other people building with InsideOut, be sure to join Luther's Discord, which will be in the description of the video.